Okay, so at some point in your adult life, you will have a give back, that being philanthropy, right? It could be in a form of volunteerism. It could be in a form of mentorship. It could be in a form of actually coaching. As you know, in my intro, some call me ref, some call me coach. That's not a pitch. It's actually to encourage and actually penetrate and allow people to ask me, what does that mean? So then I can go into my philanthropy and say, hey, these are some of my give backs. But let me just call out one thing that we all saw. It's nothing new. This is a late hit when it comes to podcasting. So you guys have already heard, but let me just say this to Coach Jim, right? I believe that's his name. But anyway, it's the male coach who was coaching the female basketball team that decided to pull the young lady's ponytail. Let me just say this. We saw what we saw. And some people, and his retort was the young lady cursed back at him and it was reactionary. Inexcusable, sir. But let me just say this to all of you. The pollen is starting to float amongst the air, right? Respiratory infections are starting to creep up. Sinusitis is starting to kick in. But let me just say this to all of you guardians, right? To your uncles, to your aunties, to your aunties out there, to the big mamas of the world and the unks of the world who actually gives back to their youth, to their communities, and also just as an overall form of give back. Let me say this. If you guys have young babies, you guys know where the baby threshold goes. You put it into whatever category that you may. Precious cargo, right? If you're signing your kids up for sports, don't just trust the AAU, right? Don't just trust the YMCA. Don't just trust the Little League, the Junior Pro, right? That some of us have been a part of, right? Some forms of sports and in sports arenas don't even have a rope law, which means that the parents can be all up in the officials and coaches' face. Let me just say this, parents, if you're going to sign, this is just advice, this is subjective, but I'm highly advising it from experience, right? Sign your kids up early so you can spend time with the athletic directors, the parks and recreation directors, so you can know a little bit about the history of the age groups that you're signing your kids up for. And I'll even take it a step further. Before you pay that dime on that child or that baby, for lack of a better word, make sure you understand that those that will be leading those children, not just your child, because some people get into that and it becomes tunnel vision. But no, you may have to actually implement a watch care system for other parents who have no clue. And I'll just say this in all sensitivity form. Some parents that are foreigners who decide to give their kids the American way don't have a clue what it is to be involved in American youth sports and extracurriculum activities within a school system. Make sure you spend time with those leaders of that association. Make sure you spend time with those directors of those athletic programs. And let me just get you to dive in just a little bit deeper, and I want you to hone in. So come in close as I say this. If your child has been assigned to a particular coach, spend some time one-on-one and interview him or her. And then I want you to go back after that interview and ask that director, has this coach had a background investigation? Ask those questions, whether they may be uncomfortable to the organization or not. You reserve that right. Conversations start to get tough for some households around the Sandusky trial or the Sandusky scandal. Right? Where you have to actually say, I don't care if it's a pastor. I don't care if it's a lay leader. I don't care if it's a spiritual advisor, a mentor, a coach. If someone's going to be spending time with my child outside of my eyesight and arm's reach distance, I want to know just a little bit more about this individual. I mean, don't just go dropping your child off without asking questions. This leads me to believe that this is not the first time this man has had an outburst or an outrage. Usually the success of state champions, right? State championships and state champions, right? Those that breed champions, you know it don't come by way of Girl Scout cookies. You know it don't come by way of Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts. Sometimes that come by way of tone and tenor and also behavioral patterns. Some adults, sorry if this is news for some of you, but may be trying to live their glory days vicariously through their team. So parents, I just wanted to give you that tidbit right there. And if you don't believe anything that I'm saying and you just trust the system wholeheartedly, let me give you a reference, right? And I want you to go back and I want you to search this. And it's called BS High. B is in Bravo, S is in Saturday, high is in high school. And that BS is for Bishop Sycamore High School. All too much trust was given into something that absolutely had no foundation.
IMG to kick off to Bishop Sycamore.
Do you want my hands like this, like that?
Just be natural. You don't have to try.
I think I'm the most honest liar that I know.
How can you coach kids and you know it's not a school?
Roy would tell people, you're going to be playing in Alabama.
He was just selling me a dream.
Did I break a law? Is it illegal? Am I in jail? We're on ESPN. Win, lose, or draw, we win.
This is not what we were supposed to create.
How do I tell my mama that coach wants me to do the same stuff that you try to get me away from?
You say you care about it, but did you really?
Can we take a break? That's some bullshit.
So I just wanted to say this, and it's not that I want to go. I don't want to run bail on the coach. I don't want to run bail on the girl because I don't know all the intricate detail. It's like they do news reporting, but something is missing in this story. He did get fired. He did admit to his wrongdoings, or was it just because he got caught? Sounds familiar? So please, sir, please, ma'am, that are signing your babies. If you're a guardian, if you're a parent, if you're a single parent, and you're taking your kids out for spring sports, AAU, track and field is in place right now, make sure you just take some of these tidbits of advice. And again, what I'm saying is not even subjective. It's kind of fact-finding, right? I'm still in the field of philanthropy where I know that you have to have certain checks and balances when you go to deal with that age difference of minors, okay? So please take that, put it in your pocket, and I hope it serves you well. Hey guys, we are in the age of cancel culture judged by the court of public opinion. And I'll be careful with my words, but just in case I drop a noun, an expletive, an adjective, or even a pronoun, please don't hold me to it. You guys know I love to pod, right? And that's no exception for today. I'm Dante, also known as Mecca Don, the Don Mecca. Some may even call me Coach. If you know, you know. Some may even call me Ref. But that too, the subject is out, and I'm leaning on that. So we'll see what fall brings us. But let me get to you, let me come to you live and direct on something that is important, right? I'm going to drop cameras, I'm going to drop lights, and I'm also going to drop mic after this 45th episode. And let me explain why. And this is not an April Fool's joke, even though I was contemplating doing something for the sake of content creation. Those things that consume you, it could be a cell phone, right? It could be the television. It could be cable television. It could be auxiliary apps that consume you and pull you in, right? But this gives me an opportunity to align with my personal spiritual goals, right? And a lot of times I don't want to be too preachy, but things are tight out here in the world, right? And some people feel that they have all the 1-800, I got the answers. And some people feel like they have the, I got all the answers at gmail.com. But in actuality, everybody's kind of scratching and surviving. Everybody's trying to come up with the next ideation of where we go from here. I'll have to say that a lot of the springboard is because of the administration, the previous administration, and possibly administrations to come. Let's not put it on one person, but I can say for the obvious, they're not hiding who they are. But with that being said, when it comes to me doing the podcast, there's a lot of heat. There's a lot of hot drops. There's a lot of hot takes that I can cover on. And I'm just not one to bump my gums, right? Criminal justice background, when it came to Westlaw, when it came to case filings, when it came to references of the court, and also me just being intrigued for knowledge and continuous learning. This has always been one thing where I want to cite my sources and also do fact finding and researching, which, as some of you may know, who are behind the walls of a podcast, who are behind the wall of content, who are behind the walls of truth telling. You can't just come on and bump your gums without at least knowing some of the facts. Let it be known, it ain't even about facts anymore. It's about being first, right? And a lot of this popularity thing that we do, a lot of people are not really skilled at what they do. I'm not throwing shade. I'm not here for it. I don't want no sauce. I'm here for the smoke, but I don't want no sauce. But let me just be honest with you. I've listened to some podcasts, and let me just say, boring, unprofessional. You got a mic, but what are you doing with your voice? Right? It becomes a point where you want to talk about certain things. And let me just talk about teams of podcasting. Right? You have to invest for those that are interested. You have to set aside time, right? You have to make sacrifices, and you have to also know logistics, engineering, delivery, marketing, what's hot, what's not, and also what are the subject matter. And some even try to put you in a box, just like a rapper or just like a country music artist or just like a artist in general. They want to put you in a genre or category, right? Look at Netflix. You go and you search movies now by categories. Netflix and Redbox proved to us that they would give us all the movies and the contents that we ever would need. But now it's subjective because you don't have everything, right? So let me get back to my point, right? For those of you that are consumed with the weight of the world on your shoulders, it could be with problems. It could be with people. It could be with things that are totally out of your control. I'm going to offer you one word: unplug. And it's okay, right? I'll be honest with you guys. There was a major sacrifice that I was going to do early in this month and part of last month. But I said, hey, I'm loving what I got going on here. I'm loving the momentum. But let me be an example for those of you that could possibly be consumed. And let's just unpack that for 1 second. Being consumed with things are not always negative. But if you do have a balance, I'll give an example. I heard a grown-ass man talk about his addiction for video games. Now, if you know anything about me, I'm getting into flight simulations. Like it's VR, it's CG, and it's actually somewhat of a video game concept, but it is actually real logistics and operations and aviation of aircraft mechanics, flying, manifest, to and from, weather conditions, longitude, latitude. Like, that's my bag. And I'll just say this. If you have hobbies in life, I would even suggest you write down your hobbies and find out the ones that are significant to you, for you, that also aids and probably helps people other than yourself. But back on a piece of unplugging, I was going to unplug a lot earlier, but I said to myself, hey, I like this momentum, right? The dopamine was really feeding to me as I launched an episode. And it's not so much of me like seeing myself on TV, but I'm a student of film, right? Whether it comes to coaching, whether it comes to refereeing, whether it comes to DJing, whether it comes to podcasting, right? This form of media that is now taking us by storm versus your cable news networks or your media outlets that come on during the day, midday, afternoon. I mean, it's 24/7 now, and podcasting is giving those news networks a run for their money. So I decided to say, hey, during my spiritual walk, during this time frame, I want to hone in on the things that matter the most to me. And that's important for you. You have to be able to balance the things that matter the most to you. Don't worry about the weight of the world. You have controllables and uncontrollables. Oh, I'm no spring chicken, but I'm still figuring that out. So let me be transparent to you and just say, hey, what are we going to do when clowns decide to join a round table and make subjective, materialistic decisions and bureaucratic decisions that are pretty much outside of the executive, the legislative, and the judicial? You just have to watch the show. You just have to watch the show. But at the same time, you have to keep others in your thoughts and concerns that really may be going through it at this point in time. This is why I enjoy podcasting, and I wasn't supposed to go as long as I was, but it's something about the passion when you know you have an increment of a second to change someone's thought, logic, to talk someone off the ledge, to help someone get through, to help someone get by, to put a smile on someone's face, to show someone even as they get into a maturation phase, it's okay to do it with a little swagger. It's okay to do it with a little charm, a little grit, and a little grace. It's okay to do that. So again, my word to you all is unplug. Now, the pen don't stop, right? Just because I'm on a journey and a walk, that's personal. And let me just say that also. In your social media lives, everything does not require a post. There was a school in Atlanta, and I'm sorry I don't have the names. You guys know I came noteless today. Sometimes my virtual cue cards help me stay on course, as I don't need them per se, but it's always good to just do a side look and get those notes and keep cooking, as I often do. It's a skill. It's a skill set. And I'll be honest with you, I wish I could turn this camera around so you guys can see the body and the engineering and the studio makeup that I actually have in my studio. But I digress. There was a student, right? And I'm talking about the sake of not everything is valuable for a post. But there was a student who actually got into it. And these were high school students. Let me be specific. Black high school students. Let me just be even more specific, not Pacific. You guys know, you know. But these guys got into it. For what it's worth, I'm not condoning it, but it was okay to get a fair one. And whatever the case may be, the person who got the lesser half of the fair one, they both walked away. I'm not condoning that, and I'm not congratulating it, nor am I saying it's a way to go. However, there were two people who were able to live to see another day. Well, in the age of K. Kung Fu Kenny, Kendrick Lamar, and Aubrey, Drake, the rap beef, this individual who was in Greater Atlanta decided to do what social media has shown him to do, and that's do a diss track. The young kid actually got served and arrested for the diss track. Now, we've had the YSL on case for well over 12 months because of a RICO by way of rap lyrics, right? And this high school kid, and the lyrics were terrible, I will say. There wasn't much artistic form in it, or else he could have used metaphors and similes, right? Entendres to actually do it in the art form. But this individual was actually throwing heat at this individual via rap lyrics, and he was arrested. So I'm saying to you all, everything doesn't require a post, right? Sometimes the old folks that use the book of face, right? Sometimes we do it as a virtual wallet, just to let our loved ones know near and far that we aight, right? And if you ain't aight, and I ain't aight, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, then we gonna be all right. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We're going to be all right. And that's what I want to leave with. So time frame, right? So there'll be cooking behind the scenes. However, I will rest myself from certain things that gets me prepared for the pod, which consumes, I'll just give you guys an honest opinion, anywhere from 72 to 100 plus hours of research, and then maybe an hour of actual production time, and then maybe 4 hours of post-production. You guys know I try to keep it cute. You know, I try to keep it a little, I try to keep it right. I try to keep it wavy for my post-productions. But as you know, that is time consuming, right? All funded by me, right? So again, you'll make time for the things you love. But one thing that I will say, or another thing that I will say, that it's okay to unplug. It's okay to turn off that TV. It's okay to turn your phone face down when you're going out to eat and put it in your pocket. Listen, to me, there's nothing more disgusting than having a cell phone on the dinner table. If you think about it, let me just be a little graphic, if you will. Let me step out of bounds for a second. When you go do the number 2, Do you take your cell phone? I mean, you don't have to be honest with me, but I know some of you. I know some of you. And where does that cell phone end? You drop it. Some of you take it to bed with you. Some of you take it outside with you. Some of you got it in the car, in the console with you, right? You're switching from your right hand to your left hand. You may sneeze. You may pick up your phone. You want to put that phone on the dinner table? Are we serious? What are we doing? So that's just a little bit about unplugging, right? Turn the TV off. Sometimes the quiet noise in your brain is working while this TV is on. For those that sleep with the TV as white noise, right? It could be certain radio stations that are provocative that keeps your mind turning before you go to work and before you go to bed. Turn it off, right? You may want to get in that group text, but all you hear is ding, 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 and you want to know what's going on. And next thing you know, it became important information to frivolous information. And next thing you know, it's I declare meme war, right? It's okay to unplug. So I will see you guys after April the 20th. I bid you all success during this time. I bid you all peace and patience during this time. I will see you soon, and I got some things cooking up in this noodle. OMG, EE. You guys are gonna love it. And as a matter of fact, some of you viewing may be a part of it. We're in the age of cancel culture judged by the court of public opinion. And today I was smooth with it. And I'm gonna unplug with it. Until we meet again, guys. Peace.